What's up, everybody? Welcome to Camp Divvy,
Here we are again. Howdy doody.
episode 20.
Ooh, big
It's a
things.
milestone because it's like an even number, ends with a 0.
Yeah. It's like we should have an anniversary party or something.
Yeah, it's close to that. Wait till we get to like episode 100.
Ooh, man. I'll have the tinglies then.
I think we'll be in space by then.
Oh, predictions right here coming at you.
Yep. We'll make that, maybe that'll be our first short clip. So we're talking about Peanut Butter Falcon today.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a little clip of it on YouTube. I had heard about it, didn't really look into it much. I am a Shia fan, but I just hadn't seen it. Then some clip of it came up on YouTube between him and Zach, and it caught my attention. So I immediately watched it, and I loved it. So here we are.
Yeah, same. It's been a while since I've watched a movie that I think falls in this kind of category. And this one really did well at it, I think. We'll get more into it, but it really hit a lot of marks for me and my wife. It was really enjoyable. It was really heartwarming, and it just had, that love built into the movie, and it really came through. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
It's a good way to put it. I think there was a lot of love in this movie, for sure. So we'll give a little synopsis here. We'll keep it fairly spoiler-free until the end. We could talk about the ending a little bit later on, but we'll be spoiler-free for a bit. And before we do, I agree that this fits in well with what we were talking about last episode with the date night movies.
Yes.
Definitely a good one for that. It's a story of a young man with Down syndrome named Zach who escapes state care to visit his wrestling hero's wrestling school. Early on, he crosses paths with a wayward fisherman, reeling from the loss of his older brother. And hot on their heels are some hot heels, Zach's caretaker. That's our little little love triangle here, of sorts. So, little quick backstory. The writers and directors, the two guys, Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz, this is their first feature-length film. They met Zach at a summer camp where they were working. And Zach learned that they were filmmakers and told them that he was an aspiring actor, and his dream was to be a movie star.
Oh, okay.
And he also said I guess second in line was to be a wrestler, a pro wrestler. And so one of the two told him that it wasn't going to happen. Just straight up, like, that's not going to happen. They don't write roles for Down syndrome characters. Obviously, once in a while something will pop up. Once in a blue moon, there will be some role that's filled. It's like a few lines maybe. It's a supporting character at most, tertiary, but not a lead role. And so Zach was angry at them and told them, well, why don't you make me a movie then? And they did. And that's the story. So
yeah. I mean, can you think of another feature-length film that stars a mentally retarded person or someone with Down syndrome? I can think of a lot of movies that are like the main character is playing
that's
Down
what
syndrome
comes
character,
to mind. Yeah.
But they're actors who they don't have Down syndrome.
Right.
So this is the only one that's coming to my mind. I'm sure that there are some out there that maybe weren't as popular.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. None comes to my mind. But this may be the first movie with the lead actor is Down syndrome guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. So they started working with Zach after the script was put together, and they put a proof of concept together, which they shared with Shia, who was on board. So the proof of concept was just like some test footage that they shot, and with Zach, and there's some clips of it on YouTube, and you can tell like you see it in the movie a lot from the very first shots with Zach, but you can see it in the test footage they shot too. Like he has a lot of personality, and it's just he's like really acting, you know. There's a lot of great scenes with him throughout the movie where I'm really impressed by him. So that's a little backstory about it. And then Dakota Johnson got on board, I think after Shia was. So,
is that the woman who played Eleanor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And, big names. Shia LaBeouf is obviously a huge name to get on board. And then apparently to the writers, directors, the cast and crew kind of started falling in as soon as they were getting the test footage and hearing Shia was on board. So,
yeah, and then they also had John Berthal, who plays Shia LaBeouf's brother in this, and he's deceased during the time of the movie. It's just kind of reflecting on his relationship with his brother. But I thought that was pretty cool that he made a cameo in this.
Yeah, it was really well done. A couple of little shots between the two of them, hanging out on the docks and at the bar, and just, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. It was well done. And then there's some shots they composed to make it very clear, which was clear already in the relationship between Tyler, Shia's character, and Zach. That Shia's, he's coming in as the big brother in a way, and you really get the sense that he's not mimicking, but he's filling in the shoes of his older brother who has passed away. I don't think too long before the movie starts.
Right. Yep.
So it's interesting, and like I was saying, the point was there's a lot of shots that kind of cement that feeling that Shia is stepping into his brother's shoes, and he's kind of, I don't know, taking some responsibility, and I don't know. So, but like you had said, it's really heartwarming. It's really funny too. It was surprisingly funny.
Yeah.
Lots of good laughs
For sure.
Maybe most of the moments are from Zach, but not laughing at him. Like he's really funny. He's genuinely funny.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So. Anyways.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of a concept movie in the sense that like it's showing real life concepts in a way that it kind of like wraps up in a nutshell some things that people who are living in a life with a Down syndrome family member or friend would have, they're experiencing all the time, and it's kind of like giving you a glimpse of some of those things. Yeah. One of the concepts I can talk about right now, and then the other one would go along with the spoiler, so I'll wait. But the first concept for me that was a big one that I thought the movie did excellently with was that, there's this Down syndrome person. He's living in an elderly home because that's where the state has found housing for him. It's like a nursing home. And it's a situation he hates. He's really unhappy there. He just wants to go out and pursue his dreams and live a more normal life. And he's kind of babied. He's kind of treated like one of the elderly people who needs all this additional assistance that he doesn't necessarily need. Some of it, obviously, he does need, but through the story, and you can tell this from the trailer, it's not really a spoiler, but Shia LaBeouf's character kind of filling in as that big brother role, he just treats him like a person. He treats him like someone who can learn new things and who can grow and better himself and be a man, which are really healthy things for Zach's character.
For sure.
And
he treats him like a dude, just another dude.
Exactly. And this is a concept that I feel like a lot of people grasp when they have a Down syndrome family member, but some people still, even with someone like this in their life 24/7, still end up putting a person like Zach in a nutshell of not being able to really do anything. Like, and I think that's really unfair. It's really unhealthy for them too. But you know, they're just so much more than that. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of heart in a character like Zach. And my experience with Down syndrome people in my life has been that they're some of the kindest, just big-hearted people that you can meet. They see things more simply, and through that, their compassion and their love just comes through. It's worn on their sleeve, so to speak, in a lot of situations, where maybe a higher functioning person would be more reserved about expressing some of that love and that heart. But that concept was big for me, where Shia LaBeouf's character is very much like, no, this person should be treated like a man. He should be treated like his own adult human. And, you know, don't necessarily think he can't do certain things unless he's tried them. And I really like that. And I felt that a lot in my life with different people I've known. And I thought the movie did a great job showing that and showing the healthiness of that.
For sure.
You know, even though Eleanor is a character who obviously really cares about Zach, she's a good person, but she gets wrapped up in kind of treating him like a patient all the time.
Right. And I won't give too much away, but I really appreciate the scene on the raft when they start really ironing out exactly how to proceed with the situation. When she joins in the adventure down to over to the North Carolina wrestling school, and she joins the two of them, and her and Tyler start, you know, going back and forth about it. I do like her pushback to him, because he's just like, oh, leave him alone, like he's another guy, which we do appreciate. We like that side of it. Yep. But she's also like, well, I'm a trained medical professional. I didn't put him in the home. I'm there to take care of him. That's my life. And there's some balance that they are trying to find there. And,
for sure.
And so I really do see both sides, and I appreciate that they didn't just make her look like big dummy. Like,
right.
Like you said, she really does care for him. She is literally going door to door looking for him. And it's not because her job's on the line. I don't get that sense at all.
No,
not at all.
No, she genuinely cares, for sure. I think that comes through. And, you know, like there's part of it too when they're having those talks on the raft. And I think at this point you should be aware that there are going to be some more spoilers if you haven't seen this yet.
They're going to start leaking out here and there.
Yeah, they're going to start leaking out. But, you know, further along in the story, when you're talking about how she's part of the adventure now, she's on the raft going down river, and Zach starts to kind of divulge some of the things that have been happening with Tyler, who's Shia LaBeouf's character, and genuinely he's been in mortal peril a few times since being with Tyler.
Yes.
And that's something that is more like she's winning that argument. Like she knows that he needs to be protected in more of a way than Tyler's character is really providing.
I think leading up to that, the couple scenes leading to it, it's like, okay, they're kind of doing all right. Like, Zach just caught a fish with his bare hands, and we're eating lunch now, and like she's starting to warm up to it, and then Zach's like, I almost got ran over by a boat. It's like, what? And then Tyler's like, oh yeah. Oh, remember we got shot at? She's like, what?
I taught him how to shoot a shotgun, and someone was shooting at us.
Somebody shot at us. So
it was funny. But yeah, like you said, they showed a good balance. There is the aspect of you know, you need to treat these people with respect and respect what they can do. Don't just assume they can't do anything.
Right.
But also there is a level of protection that people who understand their circumstances a little better are obligated to provide.
I think it's really analogous, and it's a nice little step back and view of like a family dynamic where you have some of it's pushing the boundaries and some of it's protecting, and it's just it's finding that balance between the two.
For sure. for sure. And definitely it would be hard to encapsulate both sides of that in the same person. So
Yes.
the dynamic, in it, it fits which one's the man and which one's the woman from my experience in this situation, who's providing which end of that. And the balance is what it seems healthy after, you really go further in the story.
For sure.
So in the beginning of this, there was a scene that I really loved that I just want to touch on. So he's living in the nursing home, Zach, in the beginning. He's watching VHS tapes over and over of the wrestler that he loves, Salt Water Redneck. And he's got a roommate in the nursing home, this old man named Carl. And I love Carl.
Yeah, he's great.
So much. And what basically happens is that, in the beginning, Zach's trying to run away, but he keeps getting caught. He gets tackled by an orderly in one of the first scenes as he tries to escape. And then they put bars on his windows because he's a flight risk. And his roommate Carl is an ex-engineer, and he, with very little resources, he uses 2 sheets or some kind of linen to tighten against the bars and use leverage to bend the bars out. And then he gives Zach soap and tells him to soap himself up, and then he'll be able to slip out. And so that's how he escapes. And I just thought it was really funny. It was a really heartwarming scene. Carl has this guy's back. He sees him as a young man who wants to get out there and live.
Yeah, he gets it.
So he goes out there and does it. He should have gave him a couple more pointers, even though you got to lube your body up and you're going to be in your underwear,
take your clothes and throw it outside.
Throw them out the window first.
Yeah, right. That was a big one.
It shows the innocence of Zach's character to not think of that, and to not
That's what I thought of it too. I think it was an innocence thing. He doesn't care that he's in his whitey tighties.
Right. Yep.
The whole first half of the day he's with Tyler. He's in his whitey tighties. And there's no mentioning of it. He's just I think it is an innocence thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely think they did a good job showing that. I feel like that's a realistic perspective of this kind of character for sure. But yeah, I thought that was really funny. The shotgun scene, which was in the previews, even though I had seen it in the previews, it still made me laugh so hard in the movie when he shoots the shotgun and his body goes flying back. Super unrealistically, but so funny. Oh man, I cracked up.
Lots of good laughs in it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought that. So Zach, he did an amazing job. He really did. Any actor I would have been impressed by. There's lots of great facial expressions, and he's getting across exactly what was intended when it was written. And so, it has nothing to do with him being Down syndrome. Again, any actor, it would have been a very well done job. Shia, also amazing. I think he was great. I am a big fan of him when I like the movie that he's in. Some of the movies he's in, I did not like Fury, which was one of the last movies of his I saw.
Okay.
I just didn't like it. I don't know. But he's always good. And in this movie, again, there's a lot of moments where I think he's just fulfilling what was intended perfectly.
Very well. Yes.
You really get the sense of he's I would argue a suicidal young man. I think he's on the verge of just ending it. He's basically self-destructing. So, he just really gets across. I know there was a lot going on in his life at the time. He talks about it in every interview. It's part of the story of the movie now. But all that aside, very, very well done.
Yeah, in my opinion, this movie was redeeming him as an actor for me. I grew up a little bit late to watch Even Steven or whatever that show was with him. Yeah. My wife watched it and she liked him from that.
Yeah, I saw that a bunch too.
So I think I was a little older and I thought he was super cheesy in that. So it was probably an age thing though.
Yeah.
But then my next experience of him besides Transformers, which I thought he was pretty good in, but the other movie I saw with him in it was Indiana Jones 4.
Oh no!
Which I hated. I hated that movie, and I hated Shia LaBeouf in that movie.
I deleted that from my memory. Totally.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
In that movie, he is just... I don't know if it was the writers or how it was, but like they were just trying to show him too much to be a badass before ever proving to me that he was a badass.
Yeah.
With his like knife flipping and I don't know. It just didn't work for me at all, and I disliked him. And that was the last time I gave him a chance before this movie. It
sucks. It happens with people, and they know that. They know, like, this movie, if it doesn't go well, like, I'll be that guy. I'll be this guy. Yeah. Well, which brings us over to Dakota Johnson, because she's the 50 Shades of Grey girl.
Okay. Never saw that. I
never saw them, but I knew that, and I just thought like, oh, she's the girl that's in that movie that was really big, and I do remember her being in Social Network for a brief period. She's in it very little. She has like maybe a dozen lines. Okay. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Social Network I think it's a masterpiece. I love it. I could watch it. I did watch it like once a week for a long time.
Wow.
I'm fascinated by it. It's so good. We should do a review of that sometime for kicks.
Yeah, I should go back and watch it. I never even saw that one.
I love it. I love everything about it. I love the story. I love David Fincher. The music. Oh man, everything about it. The music is what seals it, I think. It makes it like an emotional it's the bread in the emotional sandwich, I think. But anyways, so with Dakota Johnson, I didn't really Suspiria, I tried watching it, to be honest. I got 10 minutes in and I knew it wasn't the time. It was really trippy. I think in the right mood, the right time, it'll work, but I backed out. Bad Times at the El Royale, though. That's an awesome movie. Really fun. She's great in it. She's really, really great. And now we got Peanut Butter Falcon. That's all I've seen her in so far, but she was good.
I recognized her, but I couldn't tell you what I've seen her in besides this. Yeah. But I did think she did a great job in this.
Yeah, she was good.
I really liked the scene where Tyler meets her the first time.
That's the scene that got me to watch it.
Okay.
It was like the YouTube clip was like the best scene in Peanut Butter Falcon, and it was a minute long. And I was like, I never got around to that. And I watched it, and I was like, all right, I'm watching it.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
I thought it was a really good, like, it's an interaction where a guy is like hitting on a girl where he's filthy. He's got no money. He doesn't even have
physically,
enough money.
like he's sweaty and
he's
like,
physically filthy.
Right.
Yeah. And he's, he's on the run. So he's just got like a backpack on and like a shotgun. Like he just looks like a mess. And he's obviously got no money. He's putting stuff back on the shelf because he can only afford fish hooks and peanut butter.
That sucks. Yeah.
And, she's they're looking for Zach, but she's obviously a professional lady. She's dressed like she's working and that she's not, filthy. And he's interacting with her in a really... classic way. I just like there's something about the interaction that just felt really natural. Like it really reminded me of like, boy meets girl, boy really likes girl, and he just doesn't want to like let it go, but he's not annoyingly persistent. I feel like he's the right amount of hitting on her. Yeah.
And fine line he's walking.
Exactly. And I think appreciated it.
I think this is I think he's thinking, what did my brother teach me about this situation? I think a lot of the movie is that, but
probably.
I'm sure his brother had some talks with him about this.
Yeah,
he's sipping on this guy's moonshine, and like, I think she's like interested in like not in a romantic way at all. Just like, who's this crazy guy I'm just meeting?
Yep, for sure. Like she's enjoying the interaction,
right?
But she's not really considering him.
No, she's not thinking, I won't say anymore.
Yeah.
Spoiler. We'll get into spoilers now.
Yeah.
All right, spoiler time. She's definitely not thinking in this scene, we're going to be moving to Florida together soon.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No.
So now we are into the spoiler realm. I did want to talk about the second concept that I thought was really strong in this, and that, I got the most feelings from, I guess. So that has to do with his brother. So through this movie, he keeps recapping his brother, who recently is deceased. They used to be very close, and you get the vibe from very little build-up from the movie, but it's well done that they were really, really close. They were best buds as well as brothers. And through the movie, you find out, or I think you kind of have to infer that Shia LaBeouf's character actually incidentally killed his brother. They're driving home from a bar drunk. The brother is passed out in the passenger seat, and as Tyler is driving, he falls asleep at the wheel. And so you're led to assume that that's what happens.
Yes.
It doesn't, come right out and say it.
It's pretty strongly.
Yes, it's strongly implied. So knowing that, it gives a lot more weight to why he's been acting the way he's been acting. He's definitely borderline suicidal. And that's like a big concept in the movie. And the changing point in Shia LaBeouf's character comes from his relationship with Zach. And it's really, like you said, where he's kind of taking on a big brother role to Zach, but he really feels like, again, he has a reason to live because he has someone who is relying on him. And it's not, I don't think that the concept for me is that, if someone that you used to look up to dies, you need to find someone to look up to you. I think it's that some of the biggest people in your life, someone that you're really, really close to, can die, and it feels like everything's over. Maybe you don't even have any family left anymore, which it's kind of implied that he doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
And I think for me, the concept that came through to me is that there's always someone out there that wants that needs a connection, like that needs this kind of familial love in their life, and watching them grow together, they both need each other. But for Tyler, it literally like lights a flame again in him to want to live. And then you're seeing later as he thinks the end of the quest has happened.
Yes.
When Salt Water Redneck isn't coming through the way that they were expecting, he's thinking like, this is the end, and what do I do now? Like,
yes.
He's falling back into this feeling of like hopelessness and like no reason to live.
That was great acting. He reverts back to how he was in the first scene of the movie.
Yes. Yep. And
yeah.
like you said, it's a lot hinging on his acting. There's not a lot of dialogue that expresses this.
No, he doesn't say anything about it.
Right.
You just see it. Yeah.
Yep. But so, that is a concept that I think is really strong, is just that, the connections with other people are what give you that motivation to keep on living and to keep on wanting to live and to interact with other people and stuff. And, I just thought it was a beautiful representation of that in the story, and I really liked it.
For sure. Yeah. I think that comes through really strongly just with the body language and stuff, and maybe even more so than a bunch of lines could have. He just very well done, really, well crafted character development there. And yeah, so you reminded me of The Last of Us, the new HBO zombie show with Pedro Pascal.
Ooh, yeah, my daughter Sage started watching that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to mention it because I think maybe we could talk about it sometime. I don't know. it's weird because there's a bunch of stuff going on with it.
How much have you seen?
5 episodes.
Okay.
And 2 of those 5 are like the best episodes of TV I've seen, like since Game of Thrones peak
Wow.
Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking back to Better Call Saul. Okay, that was more recent. But it's up there. It's just like there's a episode 2. I'm sorry, episode 3. And the last episode I watched, for viewers who know, were the one with the 2 brothers. They meet in the city, and that's one of the best. That in particular, whether it's episode 5 or 6, it's the last one I watched. It's like it could have been a whole movie. I could have watched a whole show with those 2 brothers. I loved it. It was amazing. And episode 3 is amazing. Emotionally, every episode gets me really emotionally riled up, like in a the way they intend it to. It's really emotional, and I'm watching it like I don't understand exactly what it is, what combination of things makes it so emotional, but it is. But there's one thing I have a big problem with in episode 3, and that's the one there was a big hubbub about it. I didn't see any, like they were talking about all the right wingers were all upset about it, blah blah blah, this and that. I didn't see any of the big commentators what they had to say about it. I don't really care. My take was like, the writers are not, like, family is not a part of their view of this situation. And whereas with Peanut Butter Falcon, Zach's the one who keeps bringing in family into it. He starts calling them family. And he says, can my family come? And I want to stay with my family and this and that. And like the writers wrote this movie with, I think, a more holistic understanding of how people work. And I think episode 3 of The Last of Us is like, there's something missing from it. And it's not the obvious thing that people are pointing out to. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to say much more than that. But there's something at the end of that episode that's like, oh, what's missing here? Huh? It's like maybe kids. Do you think maybe things would be different in this situation if there were some kids involved? And a lot of people watched it like, oh, isn't that an amazing little love story? And it's like, not really. I was touched by it. Like I was totally teared up by the end of that episode. So I'm not saying it didn't have an emotional impact on me. I'm saying it's not a complete picture of how people work. And I just felt so different about this movie. There's so many things that they touch on very lightly that just kind of, it's like, wow, they really get it, huh?
Yeah. For sure. No, I mean, that's a good point about this movie in general, is that they touch on a lot of things without having to talk about a lot of things.
Yes, for sure.
It's very natural, but it's very realistic. Like the interactions, the family where there's no blood family. Like that's such a big concept in this. And it's really meaningful. What my wife said stuck with me after we finished watching this is she said, I think everyone needs a Down syndrome person in their life. And I don't think that's wrong at all. I think that's so true.
This is from somebody who works with handicapped students.
She works in a classroom with severely disabled kids, several of which have Down syndrome, but there's other disabilities. And, I grew up around a lot of mentally retarded or Down syndrome people, mainly adults, because my mother was caretaker / teacher to Down syndrome for a while. So I have quite a bit of experience with these people myself, and I definitely do feel like there's something healthy,
special about them.
Special, yeah. Like there's something about their perspective in these moments where they say things that are so profound sometimes, and they're just off the cuff. They're just saying what they think or feel in a moment, but it's like they're just looking at things in I want to say simpler, but it's something different than that. It's
augmented. It's different than,
yes,
than us.
it's just a slightly augmented way of looking at things, but it's really meaningful. And I don't think that she was like kind of laughing when she said that, but I know she meant it. Like
I know what she means for sure. I
Yeah.
know what she means. My first thought is, because I can be very cynical, is like, man, that must be really hard for the parents. Like when I see, like the students that she works with
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's my first thought, is like, man, that would be really hard as a parent. But I know from my experience as well that, like, in what you're saying, I think most people would agree with. Like, they are really so friendly and they're super happy.
Yep.
And like, it really does, I don't know, it's a different interaction. It's different than with other people.
For sure. I mean, if you, this is kind of the same way with children, but like when a kid wants to give you a high five or a hug and they initiate it, you're not like asking them for a high five or a hug. They're just like, yeah, like, come on. And they just run over and hug you. Like some of the kids I coach for basketball have done that. And it takes me off guard. Like I'm very aware of like boundaries with kids, so I don't initiate that stuff with kids that aren't my kids. But it's so like nice. It's such a good feeling, and I feel like it's like that with Down syndrome adults as well. Like even as they grow, when they initiate a hug or something, it's just so genuine. It's not a formality. It's not like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they're just very like appreciative. They're very loving. Yeah,
For sure.
and don't get the wrong idea. Like sometimes Down syndrome people are totally out of line, and sometimes they're misbehaving, and there's all sorts of bad behaviors that they can have too. But as a general rule, I think most people would agree with us that there is a certain level of like love and genuine friendliness that is exhibited by these people.
For sure. For sure. The director of photography and the camera man or camera woman, I'm not sure which one it was, they are husband and wife.
Oh, okay.
So that's another part of the whole experience, is like, it's really beautiful. It's a very, very beautiful movie. I love the color palette, but a lot of the I already mentioned it before, but the compositions of a lot of the shots are just really beautiful. And when I heard that it was a husband and wife who Shia said they're very close, he called them lovers, and Dakota corrected him and said, well, they're husband and wife. And he was like, well, yeah, but when he said lovers, I thought like, oh, like they were just hooking up.
It's a fling, right?
Right. And that's what Dakota pointed out. She was like, no, they're not a fling. Like, they're husband and wife, but they're in love and they're working together to capture everything that you see. I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool. Do you know where this was? Was this Mississippi, Louisiana? Where were they?
Was it North Carolina? North Carolina?
Oh, maybe.
You mean, where did they actually film it?
No, I meant where were they in the movie?
Yeah.
It was North Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, this, I like the southern vibes of this. Like the backwoods, like the, the blind character that they met.
I love that guy.
Oh, yeah, that whole
that
scene,
guy.
like, Jesus?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, come on. Like,
He's
just
like,
so funny.
yeah, he's got a gun pointed at them, and he's blind, but he can hear they're breaking onto his property to try and steal his old rinky-dinky boat. And so he draws the gun on them, and he's like, you white? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, well, I knew that because I could smell you in the house. But what does he say? Like, do you love Jesus?
Yeah,
And
do you know Jesus?
Do you know
Like
Jesus? Shia's like, yeah. He's like, well, good.
Yeah. They don't answer the white question
he
until
puts
he
the-
shoots, actually.
Oh, it was after he shoots.
Yeah, because he's like, are you white? And they're both just like looking at each other like, I
What
don't
do
know
we
how to
say?
answer. What's the right answer
What do we
here?
say?
And then he shoots at him, and they're like, yes, yes.
That was one of the laugh out loud moments for me, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
He's like, well, good. He puts the gun away. And then he baptizes Zach, and they have have a little moment afterwards. I don't know, just little things like that where he invites both of them down for the baptism, but Tyler, he passes and says, "I'm more of a trial by fire type," and it's like, yeah, you sure are, and it's just it's perfect. It fits their character as well.
No, and like you said, like they were there to actually rob this guy.
Yep.
And as soon as they say that they know Jesus, he treats them like friends. Like he literally goes out of his way to help them, even though they're there to rob him.
Yeah, the raft that they make a large part of their journey on is made from materials he donated.
Yeah, and all of his tools to build it, and he fed them multiple times. Yeah, no, that was a really great scene. It really showed the Southern hospitality as well as like the crazy backwoods people vibe. And
Yep.
I just love the like Southern swamp that they're like rafting out from back onto the river.
I didn't see them, but apparently there's sharks you can see several times in the movie. You can see shark fins floating around.
Oh, I didn't notice that either.
Yeah, I missed that. But yeah, lots of good moments. It's funny. There's some brotherhood. There's some big brother, little brother stuff. Some little fatherly moments, motherly moments. Positive motherly and fatherly moments. Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the surprising ending too. And the did I say the surprising ending too? Or I really loved the moment with the wrestling match when he starts throwing the guy. I'm laughing.
Yes.
I'm like, oh man, this is how it ends. This is how the match ends. And then the tire iron to Tyler's head happens.
Yeah.
And so it was such an abrupt emotional shift.
Yeah.
It was really well done. And then I was like, really? Because they show them in the hospital. What's Dakota's character's name again?
Eleanor?
Ellen. Yeah, she starts crying after the doctor comes over and says something to her. So and then it cuts to them in the car, just Eleanor and Zach in the car, and you're thinking, oh, she's bringing him back? Like, come on, this is how this ends? They just go home, and then you see the Florida sign, and Tyler's in the back. Zach reaches back and gives him a little slap, tells him they're in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that was good.
So good.
Another good scene at the end I really liked is when they first met Salt Water Redneck. He didn't want to come.
That was another one, yeah.
He was very standoffish, kind of like, why are you on my property? But also like looked curious and
He played that
interested.
so well. He played it really
yeah.
well. I'll look up the actor's name.
And
but
then when he comes out, like they're on their way back, Tyler's trying to explain to Zach that like, he's doesn't exist anymore, or like he's gone or he's dead or whatever he's telling him. And then Saltwater Redneck comes ripping out in his convertible and like, just does a bunch of donuts in the sand and then drives over to them.
That was
peels
awesome.
out and it's just like, hey partner, like, and like, oh man, he just made Zach's day. And It was so cool. You'd love it.
And another one of those moments where you're thinking like, oh man, this is going down now. It's getting sad, and then it's like, boom, we're back. The adventures, and that's the part where we were mentioning Tyler, like looking really low because he's thinking the adventure's over. Like they're about to take off and go back north, and he's going south to Florida. And so that car pulling up, it's great for Zach, obviously, because he's gonna get to meet the guy, the wrestler, alter ego guy, and also for Tyler because the adventure's going on a little longer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, this was a great movie. 2 thumbs up. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who likes a family-friendly movie.
I was gonna say it. I was about to mention that. I think it's family-friendly, right?
Yep. There's a little bit of language in it.
Just a little bit.
It's not bad though.
I don't think there's any F-bombs.
I don't remember. I didn't pay close attention to that.
Yeah.
My kids drop F-bombs, so I'm
Yeah.
not too worried about that. But they definitely minimal, and the
I think it's
language that
pretty
is
minimal.
used is not like graphically offensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just kind of like casual.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this is a great movie for families.
I agree.
It's got lots of great lessons in it. It's got really good characters, really good acting, great camera work.
Looks
like
beautiful.
You said. It just looks great, and yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. It was a fun family adventure.
For sure. But yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. If you guys check it out, enjoy. If you have seen it and you have any thoughts on it, you can leave a comment.
Yeah, let us know.
Subscribe.
We always want to hear from you guys. Drop a like,
Yeah.
smash that subscribe,
Smash that
hit that noti bell button.
The noti bell. Yeah. So we've been kind of going with whatever we've been watching. Creed 3 is out. Oh, this is a good comment to leave if anyone cares to. Creed 3 is out. And also the new Guy Ritchie movie. I watched The Gentleman last week. I didn't tell you. I had a lot of fun, actually. Guy Ritchie movies are hit or miss, and this one was a hit. I really enjoyed it. It had some serious plot problems. There was a couple of things where I was like, really? You're just going to float that by like nothing just happened that didn't make any sense? But it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. So it raised my interest in his new movie, Operation Fortune, which is like, it's a terrible name. That's what I mean about Guy Ritchie. It's like, it's hit or miss. The Gentleman, that's a good movie name. Operation Fortune. Like, come on. But anyways, maybe we'll check one of those out, but we'll see. We might just keep doing movies that have been out, but we just watch them and want to talk about it.
Was The Gentleman kind of new?
2019 as well, I believe.
Oh, okay.
2018 maybe? No, 2019. It was fairly new. That was fun. It was a good one. It's about a bunch of rich English gangsters. But like, top tier gangsters. And I love when the low tier gangsters come into the picture. Cause that reminds me of Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch. So he's kind of like, I don't know, when those characters came into it, I was like, oh, there's the old Guy Ritchie classic characters. I know who's in it. Who has? I love this guy, Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell shows up like halfway through the movie. I had no idea he's in it, and I love it. Like every frame he's in is so enjoyable. He played his character so well. It's a lot of fun moments in the movie. His first scene in the movie is like. It's lots of fun. That's top tier Guy Ritchie. It's as good as anything in Snatch, I think. It was fun, and I was thinking because I didn't even know he was in the movie. I thought maybe it would be a short cameo, but he's in it quite a bit from that point on. So It's fun. It's fun.
Cool.
But so yeah, we'll see about next time. You might. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Yeah. And you're welcome.
Until next time, don't forget, use your head.